Thank you, Mr. Deputy Presiding Officer, and I want to again thank the people of Better New Grange that affords me the privilege to stand in the House and to share from time to time. Just a couple of things consistent with what the Deputy Chief Secretary shared. But before I get to that, there's a soca artist in Trinidad whose name is Rodney LeBlanc, aka Benjai. Wrote a song in 2002. I fed up at the same thing over and over, over and over. And when one considers the motions plural being brought to the House here by the minority, we have to call on Benjai. Because it's the same thing over and over. This House is really supposed to be a sacred space, a place of truth and edification and inspiration and respect, and it must never be allowed, I want to say this clearly, it must never be allowed to sink into a kind of cesspool of untruth, disingenuous rants, and disgusting razzmatazz. Mr. Deputy Presiding Officer, the Standing Orders Committee have been meeting. I was told they met about 7 times. I was told as well that all the matters that was raised here, even what Dr. Faith was sharing, are matters that could have and should have come up in those meetings. The report has already been done, as far as I was told, and the only reason why it had probably not been laid, they didn't have the final meeting, I guess because of the elections and so on. So if the minority leader, let's just reason it out, if the minority leader is a part of the committee, the very things that he raised are things that should have, could have been raised in that meeting, in that committee. Okay? He didn't. Why? What is the reason for bringing it here today? That is the question. What is the reason? I want to submit that the only reasonable conclusion that I could come to is that the intention really is again to use this place to try and bring this government to disrepute. That is all it is. That is what he does every time.
45-5, Mr. Deputy Presiding Officer. Yes. Imputing improper motive, I was clear as to what we are addressing and what the issues are. So I don't know what he's alluding to outside of that. 45-5.
Member, you may continue.
Yes. So, again, I think it is a reasonable conclusion. If a forum outside of here where there is cameras, lights, and action is been provided to treat with the very things that he has raised, and so on, and to consider the legitimacy of same, and you refuse to do that. And you see, the reason why it is suspect is because it is consistent with all the motions you have brought before.
Member.
45-5, this member is saying, I refuse. I attended every standing order coming. So how he could say, I refuse to participate? That is important.
You're deaf.
Come on.
Member. Member. So, he didn't say he refused to participate.
So what he's saying, I refuse to do?
He said you refused, according to what I heard, he said you refused to bring your recommendations there. That's what
Right. So how he's not a part of this? How could he make such an allegation?
So did you bring them the suggestions there, sir?
Mr. Deputy
So I'm
President,
asking you a question, member. Did you bring the suggestions there?
you have to understand how the Standing Order Committee functions. we went over something that was already existed. It was never highlighted as an issue. Just as a point of clarification, there was a number of issues we reviewed as some items to
Member for Darrell
update.
Springwood, I'm asking you a direct question now.
The matter did not arise.
Member for Darrell Springwood,
Yeah.
I am asking because you are saying
Yeah.
that he is saying that you did
I
not.
refuse. Use the word he used.
Okay, so he's saying, in essence, refuse whatever the synonym.
You-
Just a second, I'm speaking. I'm asking you a direct question. Did you bring those suggestions to the Standing Order Committee?
The matter didn't arise because we had specific issues we were looking at.
Member, continue.
So don't use that I refuse.
So-
that is improper.
So I would want to say it again, Mr. Deputy Presiding Officer, because it is a reasonable conclusion. We would like to go to believe that the minority leader is an intelligent man. And I suspect that every motion that he brings here, there is a purpose behind it. And what I am saying materially is that this motion, when you look at the wording of the motion and so on, it is consistent with all the motions he have brought in the past. That is not a misrepresentation. And he has raised that there are, these in his contribution, these suggestions that he has made. But I'm saying there's a forum that has been provided for that. And you did not do that in that forum. So what then can be your purpose of bringing it here? And so my reasonable conclusion, based on even the tenor of his language as well, is to vilify the government. You understand? And that is by his language. And it's to disparage, it's to distract. And it is to depart from the spirit of the house. And I don't know that is unreasonable. And this is not the purpose of this place. And we must reject it and resent it forthwith. We must not allow this thing to continue. So we will not subject ourselves as a government, we will not subject ourselves to the poisonous political postulations of the minority, nor will we subject ourselves to camouflage campaigning either, because we notice how you end up. We notice how you end. We know really it's a campaign thing you're trying here with the house, but we're not stupid. We are aware.
Member, language.
My apologies. My apologies. My apologies. As I say that, I remember this song, you think you're bright. But we ain't born last night. We ain't born last night. But I would want to suggest to the minority leader, because we sense that it is an attempt to try and use the house for a campaign place. I would want to suggest to him that you could take their rhetoric to the next big red line. Either the red line or whatever red rubbish you all concoct. Right? Take that there, spew the mess there, but not in this house. We will not stand for it, not here. We understand what you're about, and we're not standing for that. So I just wanted to say that, and in conclusion, Mr. Deputy Presiding Officer, we see the motion for what it is and for what it is not. No matter how the minority try to dice it, or slice it, we understand it is an attempt to use the house as per usual to try to disparage and to try to bring down the government and all these kinds of things. And I was even inquiring that this selective vigilance that he has about answering our questions, that former PNM governments in here were double as notorious, if that is what you're talking about, in terms of them response to questions. I spoke to minority leaders that were in another dispensation to us. You understand? So don't act like this, that you now in minority, that you are so, and the group that you represent are so holy and they are so upright as it relates to their response when they were in power. You understand? You see, we understand that it is an attempt to be political and we will not have it. This is a place for us to discuss serious business, and anytime we sense that you are trying to use the House for some kind of political agenda, we are going to stand vehemently against it. We know we are on the cusp of an election campaign. Take a campaign elsewhere, not in this House, right? The motion, not in this House. Not in this House. The motion pretty much, as all that we have heard here before, is a nonsensical one. It is, to my mind, it is utter rubbish. There's been a forum provided for, if you have recommendations and so on, for the things that you claim to be so concerned about. Use the forum. Use the forum and let the report come to the House and we shall interrogate the report here and so on. If after those things, that the things still persist, then we can say, well, you have a case, but not now. You are trying to mislead the House. The intent of the motion is ill-timed, ill-advised. Its intent is to try to disparage the government, and we will not have it. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Provider.